Bavant 3. That's the smartest thing. Okay, you don't have to do that. That's just wise. Now, on this chapter, there's a whole lot to cover. So that's why I'm recording it, just in case I start zooming really fast and I lose you. Okay? And if this recording works, then life is great. And if it doesn't, we tried. All right. And then I talk funny, so y'all can sit there and laugh at me when you listen to it later. The speakers in there, if you're working in the lab, the only way you can hear is if you have headphones plugged in, because it's turned off. All right. So with the Bavant open and saved as Bavant 3, you want to go to page 141. And the first thing it wants us to do is open the customer table. And we're going to create a split form. So y'all tell me, because you know how to do this already, where do you go to create a split form? Create. And then where? More forms. And split form. Excellent. And it's a split form because half of it is like this. The other half is your normal data sheet view. You can edit in both views and it will change it both places. So you could, if I change it in this view here, then it would also change it in this view here. Whatever I change here will change in my customer table also. All right. Now, they want us on page 142 to close our navigation pane and change to form a view. Now, in layout view, which is what it opened up in, you can change the way these are arranged, the fields, the design of the form. In form view, all you can do is type in information. That's the difference between the two. All right, so then you're going to click on Save, and you will call it Customer Split Form. All right, and then hit OK. Yes, sir. Customer Split Form, and it shows up here in this tab, so you can tell. Now, if you'll look on page 143, we're going to use this form to add records. So, from back when we first started, do y'all remember this yellow star thing to add a new record? Do y'all remember that? All right, so you're going to click on that. That gives us a blank record, and then we will fill in this information. Now, if your form ends up with 2 columns, that is okay. It just depends on how your monitor is set up. In the book, it has 2 columns. In mine, it showed up with 1. It doesn't matter. All right. So you want to put in that information, and when I did it at home, it did it in 2 columns. So it doesn't really matter however it shows up. And you'll type the information from figure 3-6. So notice when I type CRU11 and then I hit tab, notice down here in the data sheet view, see how it already popped in there? So let's just say I wanted to type the customer name in the data sheet view. So it's Christie University. And then if I hit tab, notice it showed up here. So it doesn't really matter. Whichever view makes you happy, then you can type that information in that view. All right, because it changes it both places for you. So let's see. And the writing in here is really small. Okay, also on the amount paid, since the format is already set at currency with 2 decimal places, you just have to type in the 0. And with current due, you just have to type in 14250, and it will automatically format that because the formatting is already set up in the table itself. All right. You can click, you can tab, you can arrow. Whatever makes your little heart glad, that's how you can navigate. Now, at the end, when you're done, to finish off the record, you hit Tab. It gives you a blank record, but that doesn't matter. Okay? And then notice at the very end of 2, it doesn't tell you to save. So I know this is scary. I always save, but just so that you know that if you forget, it doesn't really matter in Access. And then I always say a prayer. Close that. Now check this out. When I open up my customer table, and what was it, CRU11? Look, it's already in there. Is that cool? So where save is always a smart thing, you don't, in Access it's not that big of a deal because it saves for you. And if it's not going to save for you, it says, hey, don't you want to save? So life's a little bit easier with Access. All right. So next they want us to, on page 144, scroll down in the navigation pane, go to the split form. So customer split form that you just made, right click and choose open. All right, so who can tell me another way to open that besides right click? Double click. Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you, ma'am. Close the navigation pane. And then click on the Find button. Now, they are showing us how to do this, but I just want to make sure y'all remember you can also use the search box down here. Both work. So for Sam, if it doesn't like that, you can always do that. All right. So Find. If all you're doing is finding, it works great. And it wants us to type in PLI22. Now, this is a small database, so it's not that big of a deal. Is that an I or one I? Also, you do not have to do the caps, so it's not cap specific. And hit enter, and notice that it goes straight to it here on the form. It also highlights it down here in the data sheet view. You can tell it to look in current field, but you can also tell it the whole document. All right? And you can tell it to match the whole field or any part. So depending on what you want to search and how picky you are, then you can do that. It also has the replace. So if we wanted to change it, we could go ahead and type something in right there. All right? Now, go ahead and hit cancel. All they want us to do is to click in between Pratt and last and insert a hyphen. All right? And you can tab or click or whatever, and when you move on, notice it fixes it down here too. Okay? All right. And it doesn't sound that difficult, but I was afraid that nothing we're doing today is difficult. Y'all have already done the hard stuff. But it's so many different little things, I was afraid y'all might get stressed. So, but y'all are going to be amazing. I know y'all are. All right. So, let's see. Cancel, insert the hyphen. Okay, page 145. With the customer split form open, tap or click the record selector in the data sheet for HSD05. So we're going to come in here and find HSD05, and we'll click in there. Notice it highlights the whole thing, right? And when you do that, it also shows up here. Okay? And it wants us to delete this record. So I always highlight the whole thing. I don't know if it really matters, but that's just how I do it. And you can right-click, delete record. And I technically have never done it, but supposedly you can hit the delete key on the computer, and you can also hit the delete key here. So in case Sam hollers at you, those are 3 ways to delete something. It always warns you, are you sure that you want to do this? And then double check, because I have been known to delete the wrong thing. So we say yes, and then close the customer split form. All right. And once again, that was all customer table stuff, right? So if that really worked, then we no longer have HSD05, right? A, B, C, D, F, G. No, HSD05. All right? Cool beans. Okay, now on page 147, it says open the customer table, close the navigation pane, click in the first record of the city field. Now, what we've done is we clicked in where it says Greer. Okay, so in this case, we are going to filter it by Greer because that's what we're in. So we're going to click on Selection. Now, see, so the power of access is all the stuff you can do once you've got it set up, right? So if we wanted to find everybody who lived in Greer, we could click on equals Greer. If we wanted to find everybody who does not live in Greer, you can click on that one. Anything that maybe it's like Greer Town and you want to include that. So you have a lot of options here and it's really easy to do. So all you have to do is click on equals Greer and it gets us our 2 towns. All right, now notice that there is a little funnel here. What did you call it the other day? Martini glass? Martini glass. Yeah. Okay. There's a little martini glass, so you know that a filter has been applied to this column. All right. So to turn the filter off temporarily, you hit toggle filter. And then you say, oh, I changed my mind. So you can hit toggle filter again. And it applies it again. So you keep doing that and to get rid of the filter altogether. So the filter is not gone. It's still there. You have to go to the advanced and choose clear all filters to get rid of it or you will have a mess. And now see toggle filter is grayed. So as long as toggle filter is not grayed out, there is something applied. Okay, whether it's a filter or a sort or whatever, it's there. All right, so that was page 147 and page 148. And now we're on page 149, text filter. So we're going to click on the city, but this time we're going to click instead of in the field like we did here, we're going to click on the down arrow next to the word city. You can choose sort, ascending, descending, and text filters. Now, a text filter is like what we just did, right? But this is going to give us more options. Instead of just letting us do Greer, we will be able to do several things to all of them. So, in this case, we want to choose begins with. And we're going to say every city that begins with a G. And it doesn't matter if it's capitalized or small. So hit OK. And notice now we have all the G's. All right. Notice we have our martini glass. And our toggle filter is now we can click on it, right? So if we turn off the toggle filter, notice we can still select it, right? So we will be able to keep selecting it until we turn it off. So somebody tell me how to turn it off. Advanced. Very good. Clear all filters. Excellent. And I can no longer click on my toggle filter, so it's officially gone. All right? Okay. Sweet. Turn the page. Tell me.
When you click on the advanced,
yeah,
it turns red and it says filter. And right now it says no filter. It has X. Where the search pane's at the bottom?
Down here?
Yeah, it says no filter. But if you turn on a filter, it's red.
Oh, for real? Hold on. Let's choose something.
See, it says filter.
Oh, that's awesome. I've never noticed that. That's sweet. See, that's why I love teaching, because y'all always teach me stuff. All right. All right. So toggle filter. We learned something new. So exciting. All right. Let's see. Use filter by form. So this time we're going to go to advanced and use filter by form. And that's the one I just did goofing off just now. Now with filter by form, you click on these down arrows and you have choices for every record in the entire thing. So if there's one specific thing you want to choose or more than one specific thing you want to choose, You can. So in this case, they want us to choose returns field. So go to returns, and they want to find all the people that have 0 returns and that the book rep is 42. All right, so we can apply 2 different filters here, and then when we are done, we hit toggle filter, and it will show us all the returns and all the BRs, and here's the 2 fields that have been sorted, all right, or filtered out. Okay, so to turn that off, and if you were going to, you could print this out, like if somebody just needed to find out real fast, you could hit print really fast, and then that's all you have to do. Used to, you couldn't save, but if I remember correctly, you can now, but you don't have to. They're not going to have you do that. So let's see, using advanced, so let's clear it out. And on page 151, it says go to advanced again. And we want to do advanced filter sort. And now we're at this thing that we've been messing with for a while, right? Okay. Now, the difference between this and what y'all are used to, what we did the last 2 chapters, is that you do not have these show hide boxes. All right, so everything's going to show regardless. All right, so it's not a query, this is just a filter. Okay, in this case, we want to choose customer name. And that's going to be ascending. Sort is going to be ascending. And book rep number. And that's going to be 42. Now, we have, whoops, but not in, hello, not in sort. It's in the OR. In the criteria, 42. And then in the OR, if you'll look at the returns field. Here we go. Okay, returns field, it's going to be 0 as the first criteria. And in the OR row, there we go. In the OR row, it's going to be greater than 4,000. Now, so what this will do, it'll find the book rep number 42 with 0 returns. Or it will find everybody with more than 4,000 returns. Okay, it's kind of a funky table. Who would really do that? But you get the idea. So hit toggle filter, and now you can see our 2 martini glasses. And we see that we have all the zeros are 42, 42, 42. Everything greater than 4,000, it doesn't matter which book rep number it is. It's just that it's more than 4,000. Okay? Alrighty. So click on toggle filter and let's clear it. It doesn't actually tell you to. I just think it's wise to do that. Close the table and don't save. Say no. Alright, so y'all good on that? Okay, so that everything we just did is under the sort filter box. Okay? Alright. On page 154, we're going to open up the customer table in design view. So you can right click and choose design view, or you can double click and switch to design view, whatever makes you happy. Okay? It wants us to close the navigation pane. Then on the amount paid field, so we're going to click in amount paid. The book makes a big deal about clicking on the row selector. It doesn't matter. Okay, everything's the same. And it wants us to do the insert key on the keyboard. So if you hit insert, oh, like that it matters. Huh. Okay, I always right click Okay, so they want us to insert always inserts above. Okay, you can insert rows like this, and I personally always right click. Okay, so those are 3 ways to insert a row, and you're going to type customer type and hit tab. Now, on this one, you're going to create a lookup field, and this is great if you have a lot of stuff that's already typed in like Excel or something else, and you can import it in there and it'll spit it out for you. Or in this case, we're going to type stuff in. Okay, so customer type, click on the down arrow at data type, and we're going to go all the way down to lookup wizard. Click on that. Now you will get this box. If we were going to import something, then we would choose this first one, but we're not, and neither one of them that we're doing tonight. So you're going to choose I will type in the values that I want and choose next. Okay, now you can choose to have more than one column. In the advanced access class, we do that. It doesn't make it any more difficult, it's just more stuff to type. So, on page 156, the first option it wants us to use is HS, which stands for high school. And you can down arrow or tab. All right? You cannot hit enter because it'll kick you out or take you to the next screen. The next box is COM for community college. And you can arrow down or tab and type UNI for university. All right? Then hit next. And it says, what label would you like? If you did not type a label, this would blank and you could be stick something in there. Okay. Do you want limit entries to the choices? You can choose limit to the list. You can allow multiple values. In this case, and I'm telling you, this is what most people do wrong. Make sure that if you can only allow one value, that this is not checked. Okay. Make sure that if you need to be able to have little check boxes where you can check more than one, then that is checked. All right, so pay attention to the question because that right there, more people mess up on that than anything in this chapter. All right, so just pay attention to this. And even I have like when I'm click, 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 go, 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 and then I'm like, oh, and then you have to go back. All right, so in this case, they want us to leave it as is. We are not allowing multiple values because it's kind of hard to be a high school and a community college, right? Hit finish. All right. Now, y'all stay where you are and let me show you what it looks like. You just made this customer type right here, and you can click in it, click on the down arrow, and choose one of the 3. Okay? So instead of the typing. And it also makes it... everybody has the same thing. Like if you have like a lot of different people typing stuff in, it's all the same. That way it doesn't get messed up. Okay. So customer type. Now the next one is we're going to create another one. So go ahead and click on amount paid again and try a different way. You can either right click or click on insert rows up here, whatever makes you happy, and type resources needed this time. Tab or arrow over, click on the down arrow, and we are doing the look up wizard again. And once again, you will type in the values that you want and do next. Once again, we have one column only. And if you look at page 157 at the top, table 3-1, you're going to put in only the resource abbreviation column. So the first one is audio. And then you can tab or arrow down, whatever makes you happy. CD/VD, do y'all see that? and then double check, because what you have will show up on everything forever and ever, and that would be kind of embarrassing for it to be messed up. Okay? After you've typed all that, hit next. And once again, is this what we want? Yes, but something's very different this time. Number 10. Tap or click the Allowed Multiple Values checkbox to allow the user to enter multiple values. So you have to make sure, yes, I want to be able to put in multiple values. So hit finish. All right. Now, y'all stay right where you are, but I'm going to switch views so you can see. Resources needed is what we just added in, right? So now when I click in here, see, y'all just made all those little bitty check boxes, and you can do as many as you want. Isn't that cool? Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now, just so you know, let's say that you messed up. All right. Not that any of y'all will ever mess up. But do you see this other tab down here called Lookup? Can y'all see that? Okay. Back in the day, this is how we had to do it. You could see where it says row source here, audio, CD, see, it's all that stuff we just typed is right there. Also, do you see where it says allow multiple values? That's the biggie. If you did not check it and you should have, you can just click in there and type yes. If you did select it and you shouldn't have, you can go in there and type no. That's easier than doing it all over. All right. That is in the lookup. All right. So that is a hint in case you have problems. Now we're going to add a calculated field on page 158. And that's kind of like what you just did here. Okay. But we're doing it from here. All right. Let's see. Tap or click the row selector for the returns field. So we're going to click on returns. And this time I'm going to select up here. That way I've done it 3 different ways. And type total amount. And tab again. Now, this time instead of lookup wizard, we're going to do a calculated field. So we will put in a formula for it to do. And this looks just like our Zoom, right? Okay. So in this case, and it even gives you an example here in case you forget. Field 1 plus field 2, and you can do, okay? It gives you some examples in case you forget. In this case, it wants us to do our amount paid field. So in here, our expression categories, we're going to go down to amount paid. These are all our fields in this table. So double click amount paid, and then type the plus sign. And it's adding current due. So double click current due. All right. Notice it did our brackets and everything for us. Okay. I don't think y'all will ever get so advanced that not in this class to use this stuff. So I'm not gonna confuse you with all that. So make sure you have that. Say okay. And now you have it calculated. Look down here in general, expression amount paid plus current due. So you could always type it in. All right. If you misspelled something, it won't work. Because like if you type amount paid, PAID, as a field name, and then you accidentally left the I out, which I do that kind of stuff all the time. And I'm like tearing my hair out. Why won't it work? And it's usually something like that. So it's easy to go in there and fix it when you figure it out. All right. So just to show you, I'm going to go back to view. Y'all stay where y'all are. And now we have our, what did we call it? Total amount. Yep. Here we go. Is that kind of cool? And it did all the adding for us. All right. So then we're going to hit save and close our customer table. All right. Now, the next thing we're using is called an update query. All right. So it's a query like we've been doing the last chapter, but instead of us just finding the answer to something, it's going to put information into our customer table. All right. Now, it starts out exactly the same. So Where do we go to start a new query?
Create.
And then what do we do?
Query design.
Query design. So everything's the same so far, right? And we are going to use the customer table. So that's still the same, right? All right. Now, the difference is we are making an update table. So before you do anything, because if you don't do it right away, you'll forget, hit the update. And notice you also get an update to row right there. Okay? If we end up, I don't know what the labs do. If you have to do an append table, same thing, click on append first. If you have to do a delete table, click on the delete first. And when you hit run, it'll say, are you sure you're fixing to change X amount of records? And you'll say yes, or oh my goodness, that's not what I meant to do, okay? All right, so in this case, it is an update query. This class is all about reading directions. I mean, seriously, so many people mess this up just because they don't hit update query. They just type in the stuff and hit run. All right, and then that doesn't do what you want it to do. Yeah.
You can do that and then push update.
Update first.
Update first.
Update first. That gives you your update to right there. And what we're going to do is customer type. Thank you. Customer type, and we're going to update all the customer types in the customer table to uni, U-N-I. So that's going to put that in there. Okay? When we run this, hit run, and it says, you are about to update 15 records. Are you sure? Because there's no undo. All right? So yes, we're sure, and we say yes. So now, we'll go to view. Oops. Hold on. Let me go back. So now, go to your customer table. And notice customer type, uni, all the way down. Cool? All right, now they do not want us to save that query. I don't believe. Close the query and don't save. So we're just going to close that query and don't save. And now we have our unis all the way down. Okay? So that was pretty easy, right? And remember, we also set our default value as uni. So anytime you add somebody new, it's going to be default as a university, right? Okay, so that's kind of cool. Then they kind of jump around. It says open customer table to design view. So we're just going to switch to design view. And it tells you to go to street and change it to 25 in field size. The field size is down at the bottom in your general. Okay? And then it says click in customer name. And it says tab, okay, required property. So if you look down here, required. If you put yes in here, then whoever is typing in the customer name, be it the customer or an administrative assistant or whoever, the high school kid that you hired to come in and get your stuff done for you, if they cannot enter in a new record without putting a name in it. All right, so that forces them to do that. Turn the page. 164. Specify range. Select the returns field. So we're going to go to returns, and then down here at the bottom we are going to specify a range. So we click in validation rule, click there. And so if we put something that's outside of the range, it will yell at us and it won't let us do it. Okay, so this is a rule that we're going to put in. So our rule is greater than or equal to 0, and it doesn't matter if you put in the spaces or not, or caps or not, it fixes the correct formatting for you. Okay, and less than or equal to 3,000, right? 30. Oh, 30, thank you. I really need my commas. And notice when I just click in the next thing, it capitalized my A for me, and if you didn't do spacing, it puts it in there. Okay? And then in the validation text, if you do it wrong, it'll yell at you, and you'll get a little box that says whatever you put in here. All right? So don't put anything rude because you'll hurt somebody's feelings. But this, the formatting has to be correct. So you actually have to put in your dollar signs and all that kind of stuff. Because it's just text. It's not numbers. How many zeros did I just went crazy on the zeros. All right. Must be at least 0 and at most $30,000. All right. And then, in the customer type field, here's where we're going to do it. The customer type field, we're going to make the default value uni. I spoke ahead. And you can type just uni or you can do equal uni. All right. And when you click out, notice it adds the parenthesis around it for you. Okay. Now, okay. To specify a collection of legal values with the customer type field, select customer type, yes. Validation rule, yes. We're going to say equals. And this way, you will not allow anybody to put in something that does not match your validation text. And once again, if you type it like incorrectly, it will fix it for you unless you've just gone crazy. All right. Equal high school, not plus, thank you. Equal com or equal uni. Click in, I did it to high school too. Click in validation text. Notice it spread it out for me, gave me the capital O's, right? And in this case, it wants us to type page 165, second bullet, must be HS, com, or uni. And that has to be typed correctly because the computer will not change that. All right, hit save. And if it yells at you like this, just say no because it would take too long. All right, so what I want y'all to do this. So let's see. Let's say that, let's just make something up. SMI 3, right? 03. How's that? And let's say we don't want to put in a customer name. Oh, it let me skip it. Did we say it had to be yes? That you had to put a customer name? Let's see what happens if we do other stuff.
So we select no, this is the data integrity?
Yeah. I want to see what happens. Oh, it added it in. Hold on. Oh, there we go. You must enter a value in the customer name field. Okay, so it's not going to let you do it incorrectly. And then it's going to yell at you forever, and it's a pain. There we go. And then we'll delete it. Okay, so, and notice that it automatically gave it the uni, right? Okay, so let us move on. Page 168. Open your customer table. And in this case, we are going to go to the street field for customer TSCO2. Go to his street field. And they just want you to see that you can also fix stuff from here. Change metro to metropolitan. And then if you'll double click in between street and city, it will be wide enough. Did I erase Parkway? And if you accidentally erase Parkway, please put it back in. You know, none of this stuff happens when I'm sitting at home doing it. All right.
It seems like if you type it next to it, it's going to delete.
Anything that's highlighted, it'll delete. So that means it must have been highlighted when I was typing and I didn't notice it. All right. So then it wants us to go to our, it says close customer table, but don't leave it open. In our data sheet view, page 169, customer type field, it wants us to go in and do all the customer types. We're not going to do them all because we've got too much to learn. So dog-ear this page and come back and finish it, and maybe even circle figure 349. See that customer type column? You're going to change all of those. So the second one is going to become COM. So you can just click in it and change it. Or let's see, this one down here becomes HS. You can click in it and type just the H, and it automatically spits out the S because there's the only field that starts with. So y'all need to go through and do that. So dog-ear that page, and then on page 170. It wants you to put in the resources needed also. And so look at that figure 3-50. And that's a lot of resources. So I'm just going to show you on the first one. It says resources needed. So all you have to do is click in here. Click on your down arrow. And then check boxes. CD/DVD, ebook, old man, old work, SDVD, and TXT, and say OK. All right. Now the fact that we're not doing them all, how long will it? How much? You know, we're not doing that bad. Let's go ahead and get them in because we have to do some reports, and that means you'll have to redo the reports too. So just real quick, fix those fast. So customer type COM, uni, high school, uni, COM. And I'll stop talking because I'm sure I'm going to confuse somebody. And, okay. Y'all want me to read out all those resources needed? Would that help y'all? Or I guess not, because nobody's saying anything. So I'll just save my voice. Somebody must have gotten a for real list or something because they just really got into all this stuff. Is lost count? Are y'all done? I'll stop if y'all are done. Because mine doesn't have to be right. And if nobody's talking to me, I really will stop.
So that's where, on this side, the customer name, you just go each one and just do what you're doing right
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So since nobody's saying anything, I'm guessing y'all are done. So let's pretend that's good if you're not. And we're going to save and close. Because I don't have to grade mine. Okay. So now go down to your customer form and they want you to delete it. So right click on page 172, right click your customer form and hit delete. And now we want to click the customer table and we're going to create a simple form. So tell me what to do. And form. Very good. And voila, it now has all our stuff. Life is grand. And even if you didn't get done, you can come back in here and finish. Okay? All right. And the same thing with this here. Okay? Hit save. And it's going to be called customer form. And remember, if you want to change the data, you have to switch to form view. In layout view, all you're going to be doing is moving stuff around. Like I could grab this and, well, there's no room to move stuff. Oh, here, yeah. See, move stuff around. Okay? All right. Close the form and say yep. On page 173, it says right-click the customer financial report and open that in layout view. And now we get to change the way it's laid out. We're going to add those fields that we already had, or that we just made. Do add existing fields so we can get all those new fields in there. Close the navigation pane to give us more space. And drag the customer type field in between customer name and amount paid. Now, if you put it down here, that would not be what you wanted. Make sure you have a vertical line up here between customer name and amount paid. Then you let go. Okay, y'all good? All right, and if you messed up, then you can always move it. Okay? All right. Then on page 174, it wants you to add total amount. So we're going to go down to the total amount field, and that's going to be in between the current due and return. So once again, current due and return, make sure the bar is up here at the top in between the two titles, headings, column titles. Okay? And that is all set up. Life is grand, but oh my goodness, isn't that ugly? You're going to cut this form in half, right? See that dotted line? That means this and this little piece here is going to be on another page. So we want to close our add existing fields, and we're going to go to page setup, and we're going to turn it sideways, or landscape. And now you see your dotted line over here. Okay? With your two new fields. Okay? Save and close. All right. Now we're just going to make a data sheet look pretty. So open up our book rep table. We haven't messed with it at all today. And we're going to add in the totals. So do you see this totals button here? If you click on this, it adds in at the bottom. Okay? Go to the salary column and click on the down arrow and notice all the different formulas that you can choose. In this case, they want us to choose some, and it spits out the answer for you. Cool? And notice that you have that same down arrow everywhere. Cool? And here all they can do is count. So it'll count this and say, oh, you've got 4 records. Cool? Okay. So they'll only give you formulas that you can actually do with that column. Okay. And then, of course, on page 176, they want us to get rid of the totals column. So like everything else, all you have to do is click on it again and it goes away. Okay? So that's a great, really quick, if somebody comes in and says, hey, what's the average salary, right? You can go, oh, I can figure that out. Average salary, let me see, click on that, hit average. Here, our average salary is $23,625. I mean, so if somebody needs a quick answer, boom, there you got it. Okay? All right. All right. Let's see. Select the whole book rep table. And honestly, I'm pretty sure you don't have to, but we're going to do what they say. If you'll click on this, see these last two boxes, everybody overlooks these. These last two boxes right here. This one is the grid lines, and in the book it has you turn it to horizontal grid lines only. So notice that it just goes horizontal only, right? Before it was both, like that. Okay? So horizontal only. And then alternate row color button, and that is the last one. So you click on that, and then you get to choose alternate rows. And it tells you to choose the brown. Is that what they want? Click brown in the upper right corner. Okay. They want this brown, which looks like orange to me, but we'll go with it. Okay? So it made it every other. It made it brown. And then it wants us to change the font color to a dark blue. So it's all of this stuff is here under text formatting. Okay, so we're going to change the font color to a dark blue, and I think that one's it. Yes, dark blue. And notice it changed all of them to dark blue. All right. Change the style, font style, to Bodoni MT. So where it says Calibri, we're going to type in the B because I'm too lazy to go look for it. B-O, Bodoni MT. I actually like this font. Change the whole thing. Okay. Then if we'll look at font size, it says to change it to a size 10. Changes the whole thing. Okay. Now, it says close the book rep table, and guess what? No, do not save. All right. On page 179, we're going to create a query for the customer table. So, where do I go to create a query? Create.
Creative design.
Very good. And in this case, what do we want? Customer. Thank y'all. Oh, because I double clicked, so I kind of cheated.
Okay.
So if you double click, you don't have to push add, it just goes to it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need the cheating steps.
I know. It'll save you. Well, it'll save a fraction of a second, I am sure. All right. So we want to include customer number, customer name, customer type, and resources needed. And make sure you hit resources needed, not resources needed value. Okay? For now. Now, run the query and view the results. So we hit run, and voila, you can see that I did not finish typing my stuff in. Okay? And if you select the whole thing and double click, yay. So that's kind of cool. And with this kind of query, I can tell Applewood University and everything they want, right? Now, if I wanted to find out, if I wanted to put each one of these individually, I have to do a little different. So go back to view. Now, the book has you clicking in here and arrowing to the end of the word needed and type a period. And it spits out the word value. Okay? So you could either have done that, or you could have deleted this column and double click on resources needed.value. Both ways work. Okay? Now hit run, and notice that each one of these is separated. Okay, now that's a big mess right now, but let's say the book did not tell you to do this. Let's say we sorted by this. Now if I hit run, see, now I see I need 3 audios. I need this many CDVDs. Or I can find out these are the schools that need this. So it depends on what you're looking for. Okay. Let's see. Uh-oh. Y'all should have saved that first query. Who else following me? Let's do this again. If y'all are following me, let me get rid of this. Okay. You are supposed to run this and then save it as CH3 Q01. Bless you. And say OK. And then when we switch, we can come here, go to the end, and type the period. It should spit out value. Run that. And then we want to do a file save object as. And that one is going to be CH3Q02. I was getting too excited. All right. All right, close that query. Now, referential integrity. I want y'all to look before we start. Notice the customer table, okay? Notice the book rep table, all right? There's no plus signs or anything like that, okay? Now, what we're going to do is link them up so that when you change one, it changes the other. And so you want to go to your database tools. Oh, you're already there. Go to relationships, and we want the book rep and the customer. Go ahead and expand them. And this right here, if you did not make them if they're not identical in every way, shape, and form, this isn't going to work, all right? So you're going to force referential integrity with the book rep numbers. Notice that book rep is the primary key in the book rep table. So there's only one book rep number used for each one, right? There's only 142, okay? But over here in the customer table, book rep 42 can have a bunch of different customers, right? Okay. So, but we want them to link up so that we never type in the wrong customer number, so that if book rep 42 quits, we can go in and change his number to 53, and it would change all of these customers to 53. Okay? So we're going to grab book rep number and drag it down to this book rep number here, and then let go. And then we get this box. First of all, we want to enforce referential integrity, so that makes them match up. It also allows you to have subtables in the book rep table on the data sheet. So remember before there was no plus signs? Okay, when we go back, they'll be there. So let me show you. Now they also want us to choose cascade update related fields. So if we go to book rep number here and change it to 53, it will change it, update all of the book rep numbers here that are 42 to 53. Okay, now we're not deleting, but if we did cascade delete records, it would do the same thing. If we deleted 42 here, it would delete all of them here. All right, since this is the main, this is the one, this is the many. Remember, only one book rep number here, but it could be a whole bunch here, so one to many. If we deleted it here, it would yell at us and say no. All right, but if we delete it over here, it would let us do it. All right, so we're going to hit create, and notice the one and the many. Remember the infinite sign? Okay, So one to many. You can also double click on this. We learned that a while back, right? And you can change this. Alrighty. So let's close that and I'll show you the difference now. Save, yes. Double click on your book rep table and notice now you have plus signs. This is cool. You now see all the customers that have book rep number 42. And it's right there. Isn't that cool? Poor number 48 has nobody. Neat, huh? And so I can change these from here. All right. The 42, however, I can only change from the book rep table. All right. Nifty? All right. I can tell y'all are so excited. And let's see, I just showed you page 186. So page 188. On to the easiest thing. I love how they jump around. Open the customer table and click on the city field in the first record and click on the Ascending button. Voila, that was hard. Okay, and close and don't save. And that's
You can do it on the other way too, though, right?
oh yeah, there's a ton of ways. You can click on here and do the sort like that if you want. You can do it from here, remove sort. Let's see, is that it?
Design view, right?
You can right click and do it from here. In design view, I don't know. That's a good question. In design view, can you sort?
Should be able to, I think. Maybe.
That's a good question. I'm not seeing it. I don't think I've ever done it from there, but I couldn't swear, you know? I'm not seeing it in there. But y'all definitely, most definitely can do it from here.
Yeah, okay.
Right click or click on these or from here. Either way. Okay? Y'all good? Nobody's screaming, so I'm guessing y'all are okay.
That was it?
That's it. Oh wow, we finished early.
I know.
Woohoo!
You scared me when you came in.
Well, I was worried because we covered so much. It seemed like it covered, is it just me? It seemed like it covered a lot. Y'all are okay?
Compare to the other one.
Excel?
This is like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do me.
I did my Sam and I'm like, oh, very slowly do it. And to check it my first time, I made 100.
I did it twice.
Oh, wow.
Awesome!
So I like Excel. I like Access. But
Me too. I like Sam because if you make, it gives you a chance to
detail, yeah.
yeah, and it's
Yes.
you fix it and make a better grade.
Yes.